Welcome to Nexus. I'm Wanda Allen Abraha, the Director of the Human Relations Department. We are excited to have the opportunity to bring you today's program. The Human Relations Department enforces and encourages fair treatment and equal rights for the citizens of the City of Winston-Salem. The Human Relations Department has three key areas of responsibility. They are investigating housing discrimination based on race, color, national origin, religion, disability, family status, and gender, mediating landlord-tenant complaints, and conducting cultural diversity education and inclusion training and outreach. This television program is a part of our education and outreach efforts. All Nexus television programs feature community partners. During this episode, we will focus on the Human Relations Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday programs and the Human Relations Student Awards Banquet. We will be speaking with Amy Lytle from Hands On Northwest North Carolina and Eusebio Velez from the Human Relations Commission. Now let's join Adolfo Briceño of our staff, who will interview today's guests.
Well, thank you very much, Wanda. And thank you very much for being with us in another edition of Nexus. Here to my right, we have Amy Lytle. She is the Executive Director of Hands On Northwest North Carolina. Thank you, Amy, for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. We're going to be talking in the next few minutes, Amy, about a brand new initiative from the city that is going to be called Mlk Helping Hands Day. Let me explain a little bit to the public what this initiative is going to be, more or less. In the Friday previous to the celebration of Martin Luther King Jr.'s festivity in January 2016, city employees are going to volunteer their time, correct, for some organizations. And the whole idea of this program is that the city employees give back to the community in the teachings or in the philosophy of Dr. Martin Luther King. And Hands On Northwest North Carolina is going to help in this project. Is it not?
Correct. We have been really pleased that the city reached out to us. We have done an MLK Day project on our own for the past 7 years. Then we do that on the Saturday of MLK weekend. And then we also worked with the city earlier this year, helping them find service projects for a youth summit they were having. And so they reached out to us this year with this new initiative, wanting to kind of tap into our expertise with creating large-scale service projects of this type and working with our extensive network of nonprofit partners.
I see. Before we jump into that, tell us a little bit about what Hands On
Sure.
does.
Hands On, we're a nonprofit organization. We're a small 501c3 based here in Winston-Salem. We serve Forsyth, Surrey, Stokes, Davie, Davidson, and Yadkin counties. And we have a mission of wanting to strengthen our community by increasing the capacity of local nonprofits and building the volunteer base in our community. And really what that means is we want to be a one-stop shop for folks who are looking to get involved with nonprofits, whether that's as a volunteer, a board member, a civic or social entrepreneur, or even somebody who's looking to maybe transition careers. At the same time, we really want to help people who are already involved with nonprofits be as effective and efficient as they can be. We do a lot of leadership and professional development training work, access to resources, really anything that we can do to help them be better at their jobs.
Wonderful. So now that we know in general what Hands On does, so how are you going to be partnering with the city? What it is exactly that the public and the city employees, because it's important to mention that these will be city employees only, correct?
Right. It's about 400 city employees that they're anticipating will participate. It's the Friday morning before the MLK Day weekend. It's very generous of the city to let these employees have basically paid release time to go out and do these projects. We anticipate probably having between 20 and 40 different project sites across the city. We work with about 400 different nonprofits. Not just here in Forsyth, we also serve 5 other outlying counties as well. But what we've done is we've reached out to that network and asked them to submit project proposals that are geared specifically to this initiative and to these particular group of employees. So they'll be breaking up into smaller groups of between 10 to 20. We might have a few larger groups as well, and doing a wide variety of projects across the city. And we're in that process now of soliciting projects from nonprofits.
Wonderful. So can you tell us a little bit what kind of projects? city employees will be involved?
Sure, what I've seen so far, I mean, it could be anything from, one project is putting together baby bottles for new mothers with, inside would be a list of resources for them, which is a great project. It could be landscaping projects. It might be doing things like sorting eggs or sorting food at the food bank. I mean, just a wide variety of things.
Okay, wonderful. So this is going to be a brand new project.
Right.
Now, how will citizens notice this participation of city employees?
Well, I think if they're out and about in the city on that Friday morning, I think they'll notice it. The whole idea is really to give these employees a chance to get hands-on in the community, do things that are really tangible. You know, it is still a relatively limited amount of time. It's only a few hours in the morning. But I think just being out there, learning new things about the community, being maybe exposed to nonprofits that they weren't aware of or work that they weren't aware of was going on. I mean, a lot of times the city does partner with nonprofits on a variety of ways, but they might only know that one nonprofit or the nonprofits that work in that particular area of whatever their employment is. So being able to kind of see the broader picture of all the different ways that nonprofits help the community and being part of that solution, I think will be really illuminative for those employees and for the people that they're working with too.
Wonderful. Now, in the experience that you've had, are other cities or counties doing a similar initiative?
You know, cities and counties, different cities and counties have different policies about employee release time. Some of them have that built in to their employee benefits. In fact, the state, I believe, still has that they get any state employee gets 4 hours of release time every month.
Wow.
So that way, if they want to do a lunch buddy program or read to a child or spend a morning at a child's school, they can do that. That was something that was started actually in the last Hunt administration, I believe, is still ongoing. So you see these kinds of release time programs all over the city and all over the country, and it's really nice to see the city of Winston-Salem kind of step in and use the MLK Day holiday as a way of kind of highlighting it and be part of the national Martin Luther King Day of Service, which is what our program is about too, and that's a national program, and there'll be thousands and thousands of projects all over the country on that weekend.
I see. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Amy.
You're welcome.
For explaining us this. And so remember, folks, this is going to be city employees only, and it will take place Friday, the 15th of January, 2016, and it will kick off the festivities of the Martin Luther King
Right, and there will be like a kickoff event that morning, and I believe a press conference, and I'm sure there'll be media coverage, so you'll see it. We also do our read-in event, again, that's Saturday. That actually happens this year on the Winston-Salem State Campus. We match volunteers with elementary school age children, aged 4 to 10, and we do a variety of projects and activities that are geared to King's legacy of service, self-sufficiency, literacy, and education. And then those kids get to take home books so they have something to read with their families over the weekend. So we're excited by all this initiative and this excitement around really wanting to make the King holiday a day on rather than just a day off.
Wonderful, wonderful. And this event will also, you will be partnering with the city, the Human Relations Department, Marketing and Communications, the city manager's office, anyway, but we'll be out in the community that day.
Yeah, and dozens of project sites, so absolutely it'll be a big impact.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Amy, and
Thank
you
you.
very much for being with us. We'll be right back.
Learn everything you always wanted to know about city government and more at City of Winston-Salem University. It's a free program starting February 11th, 2016. Apply now at cityofws.org/CWSU.
Well, welcome back to Nexus, and thank you for still being with us. In this, our next segment, we have our guest is Eusebio Velez. He's a Human Relations Commissioner and Chair of the Students' Relations Committee. Thank you very much for being with us, Eusebio.
Thank you for having me.
Now, in this segment, Eusebio, we're going to talk a little bit about the banquet, the student banquet that the Human Relations Department does every year. And we could almost say that it's our signature event, which is the banquet. Now, tell us a little bit about the history of the banquet, so people are aware of what we're talking about.
The Human Relations Student Awards Banquet began back in 1980, so it's been 36 years for us. This year will be 36-year anniversary, and so it's a long-standing event within the city of Winston-Salem, and definitely a signature event for the Human Relations Commission. It's important for many reasons because we get to celebrate all of the good deeds that our youth are taking a part in within the community, within their own schools, and within their own families. So the history of it is one that is unique to Winston-Salem and very special to us, and we're looking forward to having it again this year.
Wonderful. Now, in general, who are the students recognized in this event? How are they selected?
The criteria naturally is going to be a student who has good leadership qualities, who have been active participants within their own schools and in the community, and who really are engaging within service activities. And they are selected by school administrators, oftentimes counselors or advisors, who are able to identify those students that have those qualities and that are representative of good leadership within their school. So then they are sent to us, and we are able to then recognize them on that evening.
Wonderful. Now, is it open to the public? What can we expect by attending the banquet for those who do attend?
You can expect good food, good music, and great stories. The students have incredible stories of service, above self, and that really speaks to what humanity is all about. It is open to the public, and we definitely encourage them to view us on TV when it does get filmed and posted, because it's very inspiring to see what our youth are taking a part in, and what they do now is going to carry on over into their lives as young adults and active participants within our own community. So you can expect incredible stories, moving ones at that. Last year I met a young girl, and she was not afraid to speak her voice and to help others not bully her own classmates. So those little stories make a big difference, not just for her classmate and for her own life as a leader and as a motivator, but also for all of us, because it sets the stage and sets the example of what a good person, a good citizen does in this world.
Yes, Eusebio, the stories that we hear in this event are very interesting. I remember there was, I think last year, a little kid that befriended someone from a foreign country, I think China, and he felt this youngster feel better. I remember there was one time we had a handicapped, I think a little girl. So we hear those stories as you mentioned. Now, for those who are interested in sponsoring or attending this event, sponsoring or attending, who should they contact?
I recommend they contact the Human Relations Department. They can also visit the City of Winston-Salem website and look for the information of that event. I believe it's going to take place on Thursday, February 18th from 6 to 8:30, and I invite everyone who can attend to do so. If not, a sponsorship as well. Because that support that we receive for the event is really to pay for their families to attend and for their own school administrators, friends, and whatnot to attend. And I think that's so important for them to celebrate all the richness and goodness that they have to offer. And I look forward to being there this year and getting to engage with those students as well and see what they feel is important as a member of society, as an important member of their own school community. And I look forward to it.
Well, thank you, Xavier. Yes, and this event truly celebrates, probably one of the very few that I'm aware of where a good deed is celebrated and with some type of recognition, because that's pretty much what the event is. The kids do something important for their communities or for their schools, and they are recognized for it. And I'm pretty sure that it causes a very positive impression on these young minds to keep producing those type of of meaningful deeds
Right.
for their society and for them as well.
It's a great reinforcement for them, and they're able to go back and give even more to their own, into their own classrooms, their own families, and that's always very important to give positive recognition. We oftentimes see so much negative news on TV and all these mass shootings,
Right.
for example, and it's nice to be able to have a venue and a place where we can talk about goodness and good deeds and good acts, and that definitely serves, as I said before, a good reinforcement so that those students can continue to share in those experiences and be active participants in change for the lives of others.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you very much
Thank you.
for your time, Eusebio. So remember, this event will take place in February 2016. It's only for students that are, I mean, those who are going to be recognized are only in the city of Winston-Salem, Forsyth County schools, and you will need a ticket to attend the event. But thank you very much, Eusebio Velez.
Thank you.
He's the Human Relations Commissioner and the Chair of Student Relations Committee. And thank you very much again.
Thank you.
And please stay with us. Now we go to Jamie and the Nexus Challenge.
Thanks, Adolfo. I'm Jamie Waldeck, and this is the Nexus Challenge, where we test your knowledge about fair housing laws. Here's our first question. John has been diagnosed with severe depression and is disabled as defined by the Fair Housing Act. His doctor prescribed John a dog to help alleviate some of his symptoms. John asked his landlord if he could have a dog as a reasonable accommodation for his disability. What should his landlord's response be? Should it be A, John may have the dog, but he must pay a $250 pet deposit? B, John may have the dog if he provides proof that the animal is trained and certified to be a service animal? C, John may have the dog if he moves to a part of the apartment complex set up for tenants with pets? Or D, none of the above? The answer is D, none of the above. The landlord cannot charge John a pet deposit for his animal because it is not a pet, but rather a service companion animal required for disability. Further, the landlord cannot ask for proof that the animal is trained or require that a person change apartments to have a service animal. Here's our next question. Which of the following people are protected under federal fair housing law? A, a divorced female who is a single parent. B, a 35-year-old single Jewish man. C, a 50-year-old white man. D, all of the above. The answer is D, all of the above. Everyone is protected by the Federal Fair Housing Act as long as the discrimination is based on one of the 7 protected classes: race, color, religion, sex, disability, family status, and national origin. And here's our last question. Under federal fair housing law, which of the following are protected activities in a residential rental house or apartment? A, smoking. B, hosting a live-in caregiver for a disability. C, drinking alcohol. The answer is B, hosting a live-in caretaker for a disability. Federal fair housing law protects against discrimination on the basis of disability, but it does not protect activities such as smoking and drinking. I'm Jamie Waldeck, and that's this month's Nexus Challenge. Now let's go back to Wanda.
Thank you, Jamie. Before we go, here's a look at some upcoming events. We hope you enjoyed the program. Thank you for watching Nexus. I'm Wanda Allen Abraha. See you next time.